It's not recording just as I put something in my mouth. That was an incredible day yesterday at Limerick. I had such a good time on the pub crawl. We came back here, the football was on, and we ended up staying for another 4 pints, which probably wasn't the smartest move in the world. But yeah, wonderful time, and we'll start. Let's get ourselves fueled up, eaten, into the car, and down to Cork. Hello, crawlers, and welcome to Historic Pub Crawls, where today I'm going to be going on a pub crawl through Ireland. Now, we've actually started in Limerick because yesterday we were here filming 12 incredible pubs, which if you haven't already seen on the video, you can find somewhere else on this channel. Check it out, it's amazing. Last night we were treated to a night at this wonderful old quarter townhouse, which we've just fueled up for a great breakfast before we're going to jump in the car and we're going to head down to today's route, which is in Cork. And we've got another 12 incredible pubs to explore this city. I've never been there before. You've given me the recommendations on where I should go. Hopefully it's all going to pan out. We're soon going to find out. Okay, let's go. Okay, so we made it to Cork on the third day of our tour along the west coast of Ireland. We've had a really action-packed couple of days. This is our final day researching for a future book, which is a work in progress at the moment, Historic Pub Crawls Through Ireland. And Cork is often known as the rebel city. It's got lots of really interesting sites here. Already feels very different from Galway and Limerick, the last two places we've been. You know, like both of them, like Limerick, we've got a big river running through it, but it's a lot hillier. Look at this, you know, we're kind of in a little bit of a dip here. We're gonna make our way over this little pedestrian bridge here. I think we'll go straight up through that alley behind sort of where you can see that hotel. And we've got our first drink waiting for us at the Shelbourne Bar, which is a really well-known whiskey bar. After the last couple of days, I am feeling it a little bit. My voice is struggling. I'm not sure I'm going to start the crawl off with a whiskey, but never say never. Let's get to our first pub.
Could you tell the difference in these famous Irish pints?
The Shelbourne Bar. It's number 1 on our Cork City route. Let's go and get ourselves a drink.
Well, the Cork route starts at this special pub that's been here since 1895. And inside, its traditional layout and old dark wood throughout makes it feel like you're in a cross between an old Irish pub and a local shop. Here, they are famous for their whiskey collection and have one of the largest collections in all of Ireland. In fact, their very own Rory McGee, who was born round the corner from me over in London, used their unique collection of over 540 varieties to underpin his world record, preparing an outstanding 49 Irish coffees in under just 3 minutes. But that's not why we're here. We're here for beer, and I tackled their flight of 3 of the black stuff to see if I could spot the difference. But we can't be stopping when we've got to crawl.
Yeah, right. So, I've just gone for the, what do we call it? The Three Amigos challenge? Is it the Three Amigos?
Yeah, Battle of the Stouts, Three
Battle-
Amigos,
the three-
or the Holy Trinity. We can have 3 names for it, yeah.
Okay, the Holy Trinity, the Battle of the Stouts, or the Three Amigos. And so I've just tried a Guinness, a Beamish, and a Murphy's to see if I can tell them, get them right. I wasn't too far off, as in, you know, I got 1 right out of 3, so that's not too bad. If I'd got the other ones the other way around, I'd have been, you know, I'd have been 3 for 3. The Beamish was the one that I got right, and I definitely felt that was a lot richer, a lot stronger. It was definitely a lot more coffee. Yeah, it was, and it kind of could taste it a little bit, kind of towards the back of your throat a little bit more. So that was my Beamish, and then I got the other 2 wrong, the wrong way round, although they are quite similar. A Guinness and a Murphy's, with the Murphy's being slightly sweeter. But, you know, not all heroes wear capes, so let's have a go at trying them all again. Why not? I still think he's having me on. It feels like that one's a sweeter one. I think he's gonna. The big reveal is gonna be like, yeah, you thought you were right.
I'm not gonna lie, I put them alphabetically so I wouldn't fuck it up.
I actually think I like the Beamish more. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
I do actually think I like
That's
that.
the right answer.
There we go. I mean, it's so steep. It's literally like there's steps, there's like stairs going up to the top of this. This is like being in Inception, because if you turn around, it's all flat and we're straight down to the river. But this is no Christopher Nolan film. This is a YouTube about me walking around pubs. What could be better than that? Let's go and check out the next one, eh?
It's a bit of a squeeze in Cork's most famous pub.
I think they're taking a mickey out of me at this point with these names. It's Shin A. It's pub number 2 on our Cork City route. Let's go and get a pint.
Well, I can't tell if you were taking the mickey out of me trying to pronounce the name of this beloved Cork pub, which has been here since 1889. But that's not what makes it special, because it claims to have the city's longest running trad music session since 1972. And over the years, many superstars have turned up to either sing or just soak it all up. So let's not let the truth get in the way of a good story, because you've got to get here early to see it this quiet. And where there's a bar, there's a beer. And just like me, it was the handsome IPA from the local Rising Sons Brewery. Now, I don't normally give opinions, but this tiny pub felt cramped, claustrophobic and stuffy before I headed upstairs to a room furnished with even more knickknacks and memorabilia, including these rather awkwardly placed barber's chairs. It's certainly a unique experience, so next time you're near, stop here for a beer.
Thanks for watching this far. You couldn't find probably 2 more different pubs in a space of a few hundred yards. We are discovering the pubs and places around Cork. Just like any city, there's always the sound of, blimey, look at that. Yeah, it's an interesting police car ambulance, whatever it is, who knows. And so we have got a rough idea of where we're going, and already I'm a little bit lost, because I think that our route probably should be taking us a little bit further away from the river, where you've got the Butter Museum. There's a museum of butter, and also there is St Anne's Church, which I think is probably that just there, which the bells in it apparently are from like 1750, and you can actually go up the spire and ring them yourself. But we no time for that. We've got pubs to go to. And that's where we're going to head next. So, yeah, we are a little bit lost. That's what's going to happen, I think, today. If you've followed any of our other routes, you will know that normally we follow the routes that are already pre-arranged, pre-prepared. We've walked them ourselves, they're in the books. This is for the Island book, which, as at the time of filming this, isn't close to being released. And so we're working off pieces of paper and my printouts super glued to my old book. Let's get to our next pub, which I think is going to be an interesting one, because this is actually one of the breweries. So we've had some Franciscan Well beers in a couple of places so far in Ireland, and now we're going to go to the brewery, which should be the perfect place to try some more. Remember, not all heroes wear capes.
For all its problems, religion gave us some great beer.
It's Franciscan Well Brewery, and it's number 3 on our Cork City route. Follow me.
But first we had to get there, and it was a stroll along the banks of the River Lee before reaching this renowned craft beer brewery and pub, which was established in 1998. And like me, you'll be used to seeing its name around, because although reasonably modern, it's actually built on the historic site of a 13th century Franciscan monastery and its eponymous well. Like a lot of these tap rooms, there's a small bar and cosy seating where I went for a trifecta of the Rockefeller Vice, a Revolution IPA, and one of my favourites, a Hazy Pale, before heading out into a spacious outdoor beer garden that's nestled within the original monastery walls that houses their brewing facilities, as well as hosting the award-winning Pompeii pizza that we were too busy getting stuck into to bother filming it. Next time you're near, stop here for a beer.
Hi, my name is Michael. I'm the manager of the Franciscan Well brew pub in Cork. We opened in 1998, but we can date back to 1218, as in the original site was a Franciscan monastery at the time. The land that was donated to the monks by a chieftain of Munster. When he died, he was buried under on the site here. So this part of the site is under the brewery where he's buried with 5 of his knights. And there is monks buried under the beer garden as well. Like so, it is, we can date it back. There's huge history here. So there is a well on the site, but it's just not. You can't use the water from it anymore. It's just city too built up.
But it did used to have the water from. So it was originally the brewery from the
So
water.
basically,
That's what it was from the well.
the monks at the time, they.
Sorry.
So the monks used to make tonics, and apparently they were supposed to have healing powers of the eyes, for the eyes. Basically, it was like I think they just made alcohol. That's what I think they did. So, but again, there was a bottling plant here twice. There was a mineral water plant here, so the water from the well was used here quite a lot, all through the years, up until basically the city got overpopulated. Well, hugely populated and built up and stuff like that. So the water it can't be used anymore. Like, so.
And so we've had so the 3 that we've just
Yep.
pulled for me here. We had the Vice, we had the Revolution IPA, we had the Hazy Pale. These are all brewed on site,
On
aren't
site,
they?
yeah. So back about 3 years back, let's say at the time it was called the Franciscan Well Bar and Brewery up until 3.5 years ago, and the Franciscan Well Brewery side of it moved everything down to the marina here. So
Just what for size? Because I've seen, because we've been in Ireland for 4 days now, and I've seen you all over.
yeah. So let's say most of the Franwell products is in the Chieftain, the Rebel Red, and the Stout. Mainly the Chieftain and the Rebel Red, though. The Stout market is really hard to get into in Ireland.
Yeah, I wonder why.
And this is it, So, but with the Rebel Red and Chieftain, we do a huge amount of it in Ireland and the UK. So we export a huge amount of the Chieftain and the Stout to the UK market.
Okay.
But the Stout here is just that little bit sweeter.
I thought I'd seen you before in England, in London.
So
I'm sure
and it
I've
would
seen
be
you.
quite a few places around there as well, you know. So it's, let's say, the Stout especially and the Chieftain. Chieftain is more of a traditional IPA, nice and light, fruity, almost grapefruity on the nose, but definitely bitterness. You're getting a bitter at the back end of the beer. It's more of a traditional IPA, not your the newer versions of the New Englands and the hazies and stuff like this, so it's more traditional IPA.
And you mentioned you've got a couple of guests in there as well.
Yep.
So these guys bring in a couple of work with a couple of local places and independent places.
So we have at the moment 9 White Deer, which are from Ballyvorney in Cork, just on the outskirts of this city. We have Downtime Brewing here. So that beer is a collaboration between 3 other bars that we have. So Sissy Young's, The Beer House, and Fionn Barr's. The Bruce, which is from Toll, that's a raspberry and blackberry sour. The Whiplash one here is a collaboration from Whiplash. They're a Dublin brewery, and Verdant, which are a UK brewery down Cornwall way, as far as I know. 2 really, really good breweries that do really good beers. So it's a proper good beer. You know what it is.
Yeah.
And the Kinnegar, they're from Donegal here. So there's their Wee Bunny, their session IPA. Most of their beers have a bunny theme to them. So the Wee Bunny is their session. Big Bunny is their normal New England IPA. Then they have their Thumper, which is their double, which is a double IPA.
Right.
So,
Okay.
So, but those are the ones we have on at the moment.
Oh, that's brilliant. Well, this is great. This is lovely.
We always try to have them on. We always try to have at least 5 or 6 different breweries, wherever we can get them from.
Yeah, that's a lovely idea. Support everyone else.
Absolutely.
Support some independent places, and of course these are your own, and your own are really good. So cheers, lovely. Thank you so much. That was brilliant.
No worries at all. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
indeed.
That was great. Thank you.
No worries at all.
I think it was really easy to have missed that. If you just have a look over here, look, like we were feeling a little bit lost for a minute, going, I don't even think I can find out where this place is. It's literally just down that alleyway. And that's where there was a site of an old 13th century monastery. And now look at it. They've got the what was voted the best pizza in Ireland, which we got stuck into, which was gorgeous. And I have seen their beers around. I've seen them in England as well. I do like them. We're going to cross the river now. So we're going to head over St Vincent's Bridge, which was constructed in 1878. And like all good things, it was down to alcohol because it was there to provide direct access for the workers of the distilleries who were basically operating on both sides of the river at the time. So we're going to head over that, and then we're going to go to Costigan's, which is one that we've been requested quite a lot to come and see. I think that we're going to get there a little bit before they open, but hopefully they're going to open up early and have a good look at that pub and take it from there. Let's go.
Slice of heaven is like a village in a pub.
Costigan's is pub number 4 on our Cork City route. Let's get across this busy road and grab ourselves a pint.
Behind its distinctive green exterior is a labyrinth of bars, rooms and memorabilia that you'd never expect from looking at the outside. Serving drinkers since 1827 from the pub at number 10 next door. Over the years, the premises underwent various transformations, including periods acting as a grocer, a bootmaker, and even a flour and meal store. And of course, there's tributes to this rich history throughout. But back to the bar, and they kindly poured me one of their own lagers, which I took to drink, leaned over the old shop counter. Now, it's not the first time in Ireland where I've seen the open space of a pub, like a beer garden, transformed into a series of beautifully decorated, quaint shops. But this is the only time where I've seen that happen inside the pub itself. Add this to your list of pubs not to miss.
Hi guys, I'm Sarah and this is Costigan's Pub in Cork City, and I'm delighted here to meet Thomas today and to be featured in the historical pub crawl. So basically Costigan's is here since 1827, which we only recently discovered. We went digging through the archives and city library and got the census records. So it was originally two buildings. Number 11 was a pub, and number 10 has gone through so many different journeys.
It's been noticing. It was a sweet shop.
Sweet shop, a fishmonger's, a flour and meal store, bootmaker, lots of different lives it's lived. But as of 2002, it merged together, so now it's the two buildings are one as the pub. So there's lots of mad stories, like the floorboards here that we're standing on, they came from an old firehouse.
Okay.
It's just...
They are really wonky, by the way. Like, you know,
we take no accountability.
yeah. This is a broken ankle just down here. It's waiting to happen. It's brilliant. Enter
at our own risk. Yeah, we've got the toilets from the original sweet shop out the front. Lots of cool quirks. Like when we redone the place, we made it still with that old school charm. So it has all the authentic beer bottles, beer mats. There's a lot of dust on them, but we want that.
Yeah.
It's intended. A lot of the stuff we've picked up along the way, like it's come from former hotels. We've got chandeliers in the back stairs. They came from the Blarney Court Hotel, where our owner Cullum used to work originally back many years ago when he was 18. It's just full of like trinkets and treats and things.
It's amazing. Yeah. It's like, it's weird because it kind of all feels connected, but also feels like you've just put loads of different things together,
it's
like
a
quite
really
randomly.
Shop.
yeah, basically.
But it works.
Yeah, it's really like that.
Yeah, things have just been picked up along the way. With chandeliers from an old church in Belfast, and they're at the front bar. It's just now if we break them.
yeah. The bar's all a bit uneven, and the fire's on. Yeah, it's gorgeous. Thank you so much. We've got their own lager as well.
Hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Cheers. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having us.
Very good. No. Oh, that was a really fun little pub, that. Okay, so we're going to head a little bit off the beaten track. I just want to take us a bit of a walk so that we cross the River Lee. So, like, I suppose they're both the River Lee, but like let's say the small version of it. This is the courthouse here. We weren't necessarily expecting to see something as impressive as this right now. So it's a nice surprise. So we'll make sure we get some details for that, and we put that in the book. But for now, yeah, let's head over. I think I'm not sure how scenic this part will be. But hopefully walking over the river might look a little bit nice. We'll figure it out from there. We will have, and we'll try and keep our eye out for this, we will have the old counting house in a bit. So we might show you that next, which is like a mock Tudor style building. Used to be part of the Beamish and Crawford Brewery complex. So let's get ourselves down what looks like a pretty innocuous road and see if we can find something interesting before we head on to the next pub. I mean, this is really nice. Look, it's just they were lovely in there, weren't they? They were really friendly. Yeah, this is some of the things that we can discover on this route because we just walked out here and look at this. We've got like a fort here. I mean, look at this incredible looking cathedral. I'll spend a little bit more time looking at this so that when you pick up the book, we'll have some more details about the sites that we're walking past. I will show you just for comedic value what is probably one of the most optimistic signs I've ever seen. But look, Cork Lettings, I think they're probably going to struggle to get this little blue house a new tenant. I'm not optimistic. Mock Tudor style building that I wanted us to walk past, but unfortunately that there's quite a lot of roadworks and stuff going to the point that they've actually closed off this bridge. So by the time that this book's out, I mean, unless the Irish are anything like the English when it comes to sorting out roads, in which case they'll still be going for the next 3 years, but hopefully they're not. And you'll be able to follow the little route that we walked, and instead of the roundabout way that we're going to figure out how to get there, you'll come across this lovely little arch bridge, walk past this old brewery owned building, and the pub is just by where you can see that mural of, I guess, someone feeling quite sad about Amazon. And I guess the corporate greed, probably. Right, let's go and see if we can get lost on our way to finding the next pub.
This pub's impossible to find, but you'll be delighted when you do.
It's the Oval. It's pub number 5 on our Cork City route.
It's remarkable this pub is doing so well and looks so beautiful, proudly on the corner when it's serenaded to the sound of jackhammers and completely engulfed by the regeneration that's happening on the high street. It's well worth the visit to one of Cork's oldest pubs, having been established in 1759. Now it gets its name from the remarkable oval-shaped ceiling, and as it's located across the road from the original Beamish and Crawford Brewery, it once offered accommodation to the workers who saw it as an opportunity to roll any spare barrels across the road and start their own pub. And let's not let the truth get in the way of a good story, because these days I went for a pint of their award-winning Cloudbreak before sitting down to hear the stories of the legendary landlady May Hart, who despite her diminutive stature could use a cane to hit patrons and encourage them to leave when it was last orders. But don't worry, beer will make it better.
Okay, cool. Well, my name is Oisin. I've been working here for the last 3 years. So yeah, this is definitely one of the nicest pubs in Cork City, I believe. In my opinion, anyway. It's definitely one of the oldest, so it's a listed building as well, so it's protected. So it was built in 1916, and it wasn't built as a pub, it was actually built as a tide house. So the Beamish and Crawford Brewery was across the street there, so you could actually go out and see that now. It's under heavy construction at the moment.
Yeah, it's very hard to see it, but that's the mock Tudor building over the road, isn't it?
Yeah, so basically it was built as a tide house because, public transport back in Munster and, the early 20th century wasn't the best, so all the workers would kind of sleep here. So all upstairs is still kind of these sectioned off rooms and stuff, and that's why there's all these nooks and crannies, just because, this wasn't meant to be a pub. This was kind of
oh, this is someone tucked in and
Exactly, so this is kind of a foyer and a lobby for all the workers that were sleeping upstairs. So they're all working for Beamish, and then there's going home at the weekend and sleeping here during the week. But this eventually turned into a pub. It's kind of rumoured that it started off by the workers bringing Beamish in here. So the reason they were doing that, it's all speculation now, but from what I've heard from people anyway, is that, there's tampering going on with Beamish back in the early 20s. And, the workers were noticing that. So they're going in, brewing this lovely beer, going out to the pubs and not getting that beer. And so somewhere along the line, either in the in the brewery itself, or in the distributors, or even the publicans were tampering with the beer. They don't know where along it was. Again, just speculation. So they got absolutely fed up.
Yeah, or maybe not treating it nicely or whatever. Just whatever. It just wasn't the best.
It wasn't how it was meant to be.
Yeah.
So basically, they just started rolling kegs straight into here when they were sleeping. So the first tap went in. I don't have an exact date, but that's the reason the first tap went in, because of these workers that just wanted to drink here.
So they basically created their own pub in the place where they slept.
Exactly.
Immediately underneath their bedroom.
Yeah.
So when they were drunk, they could go straight upstairs to sleep.
Yeah, exactly. So Beamish owned this as well, and then eventually they sold it because Heineken bought Beamish and Crawford out. So that was basically Beamish went to Heineken, and then this stayed being an inn/pub for a while, and then it got to the 70s, and I had this 2 old timers come in to me recently, like about, I can't remember how long ago, but they're absolutely brilliant. They used to drink in here in the 70s while it was still an inn. I think it was still an inn. It was definitely a pub at this point, and basically, so it was a family called the Harts that owned the pub at the time. So the husband of May Hart, who's kind of the main woman who's running the show here, he was quite ill, and so he wasn't really able to be hands-on down here. So it was kind of up to his wife, May Hart, to kind of keep the place going. And she had they told me about some pretty nasty stories about her, not nasty, just brilliant. So at last call, obviously now we flash the lights, then we give everyone warnings, and then to go. And, it's all very,
you ring a bell. Can we kind of come on, guys?
So her version of that was she'd go around, she'd tell everyone it's last call. Basically, if they didn't leave on time, she'd just snatch pints off them. Okay. So she'd just be grabbing these pints off them. So this old man that I was speaking to, and his wife, was telling me that they were in here drinking one week, and Mayhart came around, told everyone last call, and he had a full pint left in front of him. And then she actually ended up going down, swiping the pint and everything, and he was seething at this because he wasn't used to this kind of behavior. And Mayhart now was about 5 foot nothing, like literally like tiniest old frail woman ever. So then he vowed to himself, I'm going to come back in, I'm going to have a pint at last call, and I'm going to grab the pint off her before she can snatch it off me, just to make a point. So he did that. He came in, he ordered a pint, got it. She came down and she tried to snatch the pint off him when it was time to go. And he grabbed it and they had a little struggle for it, and then she just basically let go and was like, that's fine, whatever. Walked behind the bar, brought out a cane, smacked him on the head with it. So that's basically how she used to get people out, was just, she'd walk around the pub
she
and
beat
just
people out.
Yeah, they also said that she had this horrible trick. So obviously, Catholic Ireland back in the day, Catholicism was quite prevalent back then, so it was a huge integral role in their society, way more than it does now. But basically, she had this trick on a Sunday where she'd open just after Mass. But whatever way, this is what the old couple was telling me now, but whatever way the nearest church was, she could tell if the old fellas that were lining up for a pint on a Sunday morning had gone or not, because they were here too soon. So basically, if they had skipped Mass and they were waiting for a pint, she'd know. So what her trick was, because she could barely, you could barely see her behind the bar, she was so small, so she had a huge silver platter. So her trick was she used to walk around with this platter while all of these old hungover men are queuing up for their pints, trembling, whatever. She used to walk up right behind them because they wouldn't see her because she was so small. She'd drop the platter on the floor behind them and just make them all jump. Just to rattle them for not going to Mass.
Oh dear, that's pretty funny. Oh, thank you. What a story! It's amazing. It's a lovely pub. Thank you so much for having us, man. That's brilliant.
No problem.
This is a very different view of Ireland from what we've seen over the last couple of days. I mean, we are this could be any London street or any Greater London street where everything is basically roadworks non-stop. We've I don't know how the Oval still keeps going because it was almost impossible to get to, and we're just going to head up to another one that came highly recommended, Vicarstown. It should be a lot of fun. Again, we've just got to work out how many of these barriers I've actually got to jump over to get into them. I think it's over here somewhere, so we'll soon find out.
What's the most bizarre thing you've ever seen in a pub? I'll go first.
It's the Vicarstown Bar. It's pub number 6 on our Cork City route. Let's go get a beer.
Now, there can't be many times when you walk into a pub named after the north area of an ancient city with a long, narrow bar and a design that reflects Cork's medieval architectural footprint, but still has room for Biggie Smalls, Snoop and Tupac, and an exotic fish tank. But that's not why we're here. We're here for beer. And I got stuck into a pint of redemption, which was a cracking Irish red ale from the Rising Sons Brewery. Now, there's a surprising amount to see in this tiny bar, because out back, its secluded yet expansive beer garden is a perfect sun trap during the summer months, with the garden's crumbling walls, which have aged over centuries, adding to its unique ambiance. So whilst it's popular with locals and tourists alike, who cares where you're from when this is the destination?
Perfect. Well, we just tell everyone who you are and where we are and why we're here.
Hello guys, my name is João. I work in Vicarstown for almost 3 years now, and since I arrived to this day, I just got in love with the place. So this pub is here for over 8 years actually. Some part of the structure outside, it belongs to the old street.
So don't you fall over there. We're gonna walk.
Absolutely.
We're gonna walk past you.
Yeah.
Right,
Or
we
can turn around now.
Yeah, you're gonna come and follow us, and we're still mic'd, so we can still hear us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So back here we have this lovely beer garden that actually the wall surrounded by it used to be from the primary roads that used to be in Cork City before, when the North Main Street and South Main Street used to be the old street and all of the city kind of. So behind this wall actually used to be a lane where people would pass by. Obviously no cars sitting there.
No, yeah. It was a bit of a squeeze, so we just had a look at that in the at the front of the pub, right?
This will be Black Dog already.
Okay.
So Black Dog, I don't know if you guys want to make another video about Black Dog after, because Black Dog also used to be a butcher. The part of the butcher is outside, and now he sells the taqueria as well. So the food line keeps going into the bar generations.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is it, guys.
This is it. It's pretty cool. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Very
Right,
nice to meet you guys.
Let's go and get our beer.
Amazing. The fish over here, they are part of the history as well of Cork. The names are Greg and Shane, and they are from the old DJs Fish Go Deep, deeply inside of Cork and people's knowledge. So yeah, they are eternally here with us. And they are almost 12 years old of age. So,
Really?
Absolutely. Being good take care of, and they will stay here.
Wow.
Thank you.
Just the first line.
That's all right, mate. It's fine. That was a hell of a sneeze. So much. We just walked down a crazy little old Market Street. So the Cold Quay. So look at this. Oh, this building looks like it's coming down, doesn't it? Held together by these big old steel girders, desperately clinging it together. Everything seems to be about low enough as a ceiling that even a shorty like me will hit my head on, and probably narrow enough that I could probably put my arms out and touch the walls on either side. But this is like real old part. And then you've got this big monstrosity. I'm loath to call someone's art a monstrosity. I do like to support the arts, but this is called Urban Mirror, which was designed by Berlin-based architectural practice called Plattenbau Studio. It's one for my German friends. And it's part of the Island City Cork's Urban Sculpture Trail. Unfortunately, it's absolutely coated in pigeon shit. It's not the most glamorous I have seen, and it's quite weird seeing it juxtaposed against this little old building. And then look at these little old shops. I mean, they're prettily painted. This feels like going back in time. We're actually going to go, I got ourselves a little bit lost, and we kind of moved around the wrong way. So we're going to head back down here. We're going to Rising Sons Brewery. So another microbrewery and pub after the Franciscan Well that we went to earlier. Let's go and check that out.
This pale ale is the best in the world.
Rising Sons Brewery. It's number 7 on our Cork City route. Go and check it out.
Situated at the heart of the old town, this is one of Ireland's finest microbreweries and has won dozens of gold medals in competitions across the planet. Now inside, it feels very much like a sports bar with bench seating and plenty of flags to get you into the mood. But the star of the show is its changeling pale ale, which won best in the world at the International Beer Challenge back in 2018, with them claiming that their unique way of brewing this ale means that every batch is slightly different. And since not all heroes wear capes, of course that was what I was going to try. And whilst I could have worked my way through the rest of the bar, we can't be stopping when we've got to crawl.
T-shirt.
I'll actually take off the jacket. I'll have to get it.
And then you just, no, it's right. If you just have it like that, that'll be fine. So I'll just keep that. That'll just keep that just nicely there. That'll be fine. You'll be heard fine, perfectly. Honestly, we're only just going to record basically what we just talked about. So yeah, the exact same thing that we just talked about is exactly what we're going to record.
Oh,
But yeah, I mean, tell everyone who you are, and then tell me a little bit about the area and about the brewery and the building.
My name is Joshua Rathore. I'm the bar manager here in the Rising Sons Brewery. You're in the heart of Cork City here. Like, it's a massive historical street. It's called, at the moment, it's a Cornmarket Street, which is what the market was, and you'd have the Coal Quay as well. Back in going back 60, 70 years ago, this entire street would just be covered in just markets and people in stalls. And you'd have
any particular was it like a food market or grocery, or was it just, or was it also, was it literally everything?
One section food, which would be food and groceries. You'd have another section which would be rugs and carpets and clothing. You'd have another section which would be corn and all your kind of the stuff that you need at home. A bit of clothing, and like you could go up to one area, you can get your flowers. Up to another area, get your milk from a farmer. You walk back down to the same area, cross the road, you get a bag of coal. Do you know what I mean? Everything you needed here, but it was more of a kind of an area for the Irish people, the peasants. So this was the main Irish market in kind of comparison to the English market down the road.
What's the difference between an Irish market and an English market?
When we were colonised back in the day, of course, so the English were the upper class compared to the Irish people. So the English got the English market down below.
So it wasn't anything other than a bit, we just didn't want the Irish
Yeah,
mingling.
pretty much.
We just didn't want the Irish mingling in our market on your own
Exactly,
land.
you know.
Okay, excellent.
And the bar across the road there, you see the bodega, that was St. Peter's Market.
Uh-huh.
And you could go in the front door and you could circle around on the horse and carriage, and you can come up the side door. And the same kind of crack, it was a full-blown market inside there as well. Now throughout the years, it was a market, it was a brothel, it was a hospital, it was also, there's a room in the back of it that's called the wine tap, and that's where all the wine was imported into Ireland. So
It's quite a collection of different uses, that is, isn't it?
Mental. It's absolutely mental. And like you're coming over here then to this side of the street, which we call the sunny side of the road now, where that's our sister pub, so we like to take little small jabs at them, like, you know, sunny side of the street, like, you know. But you come over here, and this building used to be the checkbook office for all of Ireland, so you'd have your checkbooks made here, and they'd be banged out across the country. We're like, do you know what? And we make beer, do you know what I mean? So, hence why we're here now.
Instead of printing money, let's make beer.
Exactly, do you know, like the whole kind of reason of us is like, with the likes of the kind of suits controlling all the market and all this, we're beer for the people. Do you know, our motto at the moment is join the revolution. Because for the early noughties, there was no such thing as craft beer in Ireland. You'd never see it, do you know? And so there was a law passed around 2008, as far as I know. Now, I may be wrong, that allowed people to actually produce their own beer and sell it on the
what did it like, change the licensing?
Pretty
or
much,
like,
exactly, of course.
Okay.
And we were like, do you know what? That sounds unreal. Absolutely, we'll give this a bash, like, you know? And like, it's worked well for us.
And that was only 2008? So you've been going since then?
No, we've been going since 2015. We've been
Okay,
going since,
okay.
no, sorry, 2014. We're going on to our 11th year now. And like,
and already we've had a world winner, so I've had the Changeling, which
course.
we were trying to work out which category definitely won.
So that was best beer in the world up until 5%.
There you go.
There you go. We have another beer called Dreamcatcher. That would be a kind of a West Coast style IPA that won best style beer in the world, and it was nominated twice for the best beer in the world as well. So just lovely fucking beer.
Yeah, I mean, this is really drinkable. This is, you know, I don't, for someone who drinks professionally, I don't have an amazing palate. So,
that's what
but I can. This is like sherbety. This is a bit like this is having like a little dib dab sherbet on the top.
And
it's really nice.
Changing Nose, my favourite beer on tap.
Yeah.
It's my bread and butter. Like I was a stout man growing up for years, and unfortunately I got a bad pint of it when I was younger. And I was like, Jesus, what's going on? It was like, I got a new lease of life. I was like, I can't drink beer anymore. And then somebody actually put a pint of Redemption in front of me. It was like, here, get that into you. I was like, fuck it, I will, of course, pardon my French. Took a swig off it, and I was like, that's beautiful. Like an Irish red ale would have the same kind of characteristics as a stout anyway. You know, now of course it's carbonated, you know. But that was a nice kind of introduction for me then to get into your nicer ales, which for me is changing. I can never say a bad word about it. It's my bread and butter. Gets me up in the morning and puts me to sleep at night. Like, you know what I mean?
And is everything brewed here, or have you got a site? You got somewhere off site as well?
No, everything that you see on tap is brewed just in these 5 vats behind you, and our 2 tons then just down below. Like, as I do the brewery tours in here about 2 or 3 days of the week, and like what I'd always start off with saying to people is, we're not doing anything different than anybody else. We're not trying to do anything different than anybody else. We're just making good beer. Do you know what I mean? And it works. And the majority of our beers, like Redemption, has 4 gold medals in the World Beer Awards. Changeling, as you heard, one best beer in the world. We have 3 or 4 more beers on tap that have at least 2 gold medals in the World Beer Awards. You know, so I think we're doing good. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I'll drink to that. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
pretty
absolutely.
good. Good stuff.
Sláinte.
Sláinte. Beautiful stuff. Yeah, well, I'm a bit lost at the moment, actually, because I was looking for the Rory Gallagher sculpture, but we struggled to find that, so we're probably just going to plough ahead to the next pub, but we will make sure that when we get the directions out in the book that we can walk past that. And why would we want to do that? Well, there is a memorial sculpture for the great Rory Gallagher. He was an Irish blues and rock guitarist. He is regarded as one of the most influential guitarists of all time. One of my favourite guitarists, Jimi Hendrix, was once asked what it felt like to be the best guitar player of all time, and he allegedly responded, "I don't know, you'll have to ask Rory Gallagher." But what we have found is, again, just very quickly learning that anywhere you are in Ireland, if you're out in the sticks seeing a castle, you're in a city somewhere and you're seeing a church. I have no idea what this is. We're going to go and pop our heads in and go and have a little look, and then plough forward and get to Mutton Lane Inn, which is one of the city's very, very oldest. It's one of the most cherished. It's been probably the pub that most people have said you have to go and check this out whilst we're here. And certainly as we've been going along the routes, I've been asking the teams behind the bar, where do you go out drinking? And a lot of them say here. Let's see if we can figure out how we get there. Okay, well, I do know that we definitely go down this way.
This hidden gem might just be Cork's best pub.
Mutton Lane Inn. It's pub number 8 on our Cork City route. And can you spot it? All right, let's go.
Yep, you did really see that. It's down a tiny alleyway where you'll find one of Cork's oldest pubs, which used to be a collection of buildings offering accommodation before turning to its current use around 1780. Now, whilst they might claim to have once enjoyed the highest sales of Irish whiskey per square foot in Ireland, we won't let the truth get in the way of a good story, because where it really gets its name is as the main thoroughfare for the livestock being brought into the English market at the end of this alley. But that's not why we're here. We're here for beer, and as yet another one that stocks a wide range from the rising Sons Brewery. Like a true hero, I had to work my way through their options. Now, this place was so nice, I came here twice, and whilst I didn't get any footage, as we'd already finished 11 pubs at that point, needless to say, this dark, intimate, cosy pub was chocker inside and out that you could barely see local artist Anthony Ruby's notable mural adorning the wall outside. But we can't be stopping when we've got to crawl.
How we doing? Louise, working in Mutton Lane about 3.5 years now. About 20 years in bar work. Came to an old school pub because they're the kind of the ones I'm always drawn towards. It's either that or something a little bit alternative, and this is a good mix of the two, I think, in the city centre. We're always giving compliments on the music because it's a little bit alternative, but at the same time, we try to cater for everyone, you know, try to keep it Irish roots as well.
And you love old pubs, don't you? That's why you love this place. It's super old pub.
It is. It's old, but like it's remained its character. It still has its charm, even though it's in the city centre. You're literally off Patrick Street. We still have regulars. A lot of pubs in city centres don't really have that. You don't have like a solid base that come in, sit down. They meet up like you can always tell they're going to be in on a Sunday or else a Saturday or a Friday. There's like a core group that come in. You have the ones that come in at 5 o'clock. You have the ones that come in at 11 o'clock. You can nearly actually place a bet on the time they're going to come in. And I think that's great. And then like they'll sit down, and I think that's a charm as well for people who are placed in the city centre, that people that are able to sit down, they're having a pint, they just want to, especially if they're travelling, and then they get talking to someone that's local. Whereas that's not as common, I find, now anymore, unless you're going outside the city centre.
Yeah, and I mean, you probably have to be a regular to find this place, because it is down this tiny little alley, which did have curtains that used to cover it up, which is I just found out, which is pretty weird.
They're in reworks.
Okay.
The curtains are probably as old as the front door, I'd say. But no, yeah, it's called the Mutton because it's where the livestock used to come into the English market. It was really, you can see the curtains, it was an upholstery place before that. Then it became a pub in 1870, but it's the oldest in the city centre. So I think that's a good landmark to have. It just shows you, like, there's pubs that are hundreds and hundreds of years old, but that's only, what, 200-300 years old? And it's still here, so I think it's a good stand. Yeah.
Oh, well, it's a great place. Thank you so much for showing us around. That was brilliant.
Cheers. Thank you.
See the sun shining on me? Does it make me look good? Yeah, it's really, really bright in my eyes. It's like literally looking directly into the sun. But we're on a really, really busy Oliver Plunkett Street, which is absolutely chock-a-block full of amazing pubs, bars, shops. Oliver Plunkett was actually the first saint to be canonised for 700 years in Ireland. He was unjustly accused of treason around a plot around the Pope in 1679, and he was hung, drawn and quartered. What a grisly end that would be. We're going to go now to, obviously we've left Mutton Lane, which was a really, really fascinating pub, and one that most people along the way had told us that they would go to, like people that work in all the other bars and pubs that we met. And it was good, it lived up to the hype. We're going to get ourselves past these lovely buskers here, and there's been quite a few on this road. We're going to go to what's called the High B, which, if we're lucky, you're going to see a video of. Now, no one's ever filmed this before. Normally, you don't get past the door because they refuse entry and then bar you forever if you have your phone out. So it's about the size of a living room, I think. At least that's what we hear, because there's not very much evidence of this. And so if we're lucky, we're going to be able to film that. If we're not, we're at least going to go in there and have a pint and see what all the hype's about. It should be, it should be really special. So wish me luck.
Let's go inside the most secretive pub on the planet.
The High B, it's pub number 9 on our Cork City route.
Well, sit back and enjoy, because this tiny pub has a very strict no mobile phones policy. So it was a miracle when they allowed me to become the first person ever to record the bar. Now, it's characterised by its original 1920s decor that takes you back in time to create a celebrated ambience that encourages lively conversation and genuine social interaction amongst the guests that share the tiny tables. Now, it's officially known as the Hibernian Bar, and everything's packed into the one room that overlooks the high street. Since they're famous for their Beamish, I wasn't going to turn that down, nor could I miss the opportunity to sit at the bar and chat to the locals, as today's assistant Luke and I decided to sample some of their incredible whiskey collection. Now, don't all rush here at once, because the queue can sometimes go down these steps and around the corner. Add this to your list of pubs not to miss.
It says no phones, we're allowed one. My name's Stephen. I've been working in High B about a year. One of Cork's oldest pubs. It was a hotel going back from 1791. And then bought by Brian O'Donnell's father, Brian O'Donnell Sr. in 1924, to my knowledge, so just over 100 years. So it's a pub that's been around long before me, will be around long after me.
It's one of the most famous for sure. That's the one that we've been told, like, everyone, you have to come in here. It's like sitting in a living room, isn't it?
Yeah, I would have grown up in, the suburbs, knowing, there's a pub in Cork, and kick you out if you go on your phone. And it's wild to know that I'm being part of this bar that I grew up knowing of, and very historic place, yeah. Many of my stories would just come from what I'm hearing from customers, people who are there throughout their whole lives and experiences they had, especially, the bar was the show, that's he's known for him. His ghost still haunts the room. Stop people from misbehaving, which is great, makes my job a bit easier.
Well, I mean, to be fair, for a pub that doesn't let anyone have any cameras or phones or anything in, it's probably best that we keep keep the mystery going.
A wee bit brief, exactly.
Keep that little bit brief.
But, feel free to talk to people around. They're not allowed on their phone, so they're going to have to talk to you.
Yeah.
And I'd say people here would be more than happy to share a few stories.
Well, we're going to switch our phone off now, and we're going to finish these pints. It's brilliant. Thank you so much.
Thanks, William.
Once you're in on the secret, you won't want to miss this pub.
It's the Long Valley Bar, and it is pub number 10 on our Cork City route. Let's go and get a pint.
Well, it was late on a Monday when I finally rocked up to this city centre pub with a few tables scattered outside the front. And I must admit I was surprised on arrival, as throughout the day everyone had asked me if I was coming here. Of course, we're here to see the places, not the people. And initially, I didn't quite work out what all the fuss was about. Because although it's been established as far back as 1842 and been under the stewardship of the last 3 generations of the Moynihan family, it took me a little while to figure out that most of the place is furnished from the wreck of an old ship. But back to the bar, where they were kind enough to pour me a pint of Murphy's, which I could enjoy in the snug with these locals that had squirreled themselves away. So there you go. Don't be put off by first impressions, because it was the most talked about pub as I explored Cork. Next time you're near, stop here for a beer.
Ada,
Yeah.
who's the boss here? So tell us something about this amazing pub.
Well, it's been in the family now, a third generation. They were tailors originally, the Moynihans. They were tailors next door. And in 1927, they bought the pub for a room for fitting the suits and things. And the tailoring kind of went by the wayside, and they kept the pub going then.
So was it a pub, or was this just a big changing room for people? And
No, the big changing room was overhead.
Okay.
And
So
that was next door, but the pub, and then they extended the pub out into Oliver Plunkett Street, and that went as well. But that was.
So I've heard that you're quite legendary for your lunches here.
Yeah, we do lovely corned beef salads. My mother, she worked in the Metropole for years in a famous hotel there, and she did a lot of catering and that kind of thing. And she started corned beef salads and ham salads, and that was Rita.
Right. And solve the debate for me. So what's your favourite pint?
Beamish.
You're a Beamish man. Right. Well, we just had a Beamish in the High B, so we had to have something a little different. Had a Murphy. I'm like you. I think the Beamish is a bit better. I like the Beamish. You heard it here first. That's brilliant. Thank you so much. Well, crawlers, we are on to our final pub, so thank you for sticking and watching this long. It's been an experience. Over 3 days I've been filming Ireland, so depending on when you're watching this video, you may or may not have seen the other routes around Galway and Limerick, plus a couple that I've done in the past around Dublin. All a lot of fun. If you haven't checked them out already, make sure you do. Make sure that you give us a follow, like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. You can check out the individual videos on Instagram and other social media platforms. And of course, when the book is out, buy the book, put it in your back pocket, get out and support the pubs. Now, we're coming to the very last pub here, and we are at the point that I am convinced, with just a few hours left in Ireland, that people have been taking the mick out of us in terms of getting me to say some of these names, because there is no chance that I'm going to try that one. And I'll tell you now, after 10 pubs, 10 pints, and also the whiskey that we had, I'm not going to try that one either, for obvious reasons.
After 11 pints, there's only one person to blame for what happened next.
The Canal Lane Theatre. It's the final pub on our Cork City route. Let's go and get a beer.
Well, it was nearly straight in, up to the bar and for a pint at what is probably one of Cork's liveliest late-night venues. And I hardly covered myself in glory because I got the name wrong, as it's actually Train Lane Theatre. But that's what 11 pints can do to you. Either side of this beautifully lit alleyway is a labyrinth of bars. First, a typical selection of beers before it winds round into a popular music venue that started the careers of many local artists. If you give this place just a couple of hours from when I rocked up, it's shoulder to shoulder heaving with late night revellers. Now, 11 pubs in, it's only natural to be affected by the sheer volume of drinking. And as I was led throughout this maze of bars, my host Kate somehow convinced me to try a cocktail. And since not all heroes wear capes, who am I to decline it? And whilst this house of jazz, blues, and burlesque, features a distinctive dispensary where the pub has expanded into an old pharmacy and retained many of the brands and items a 40-something like me would recognise. It's the end of the day's route, and whilst there's much to explore, I'll stay here for some more.
Yeah, the changing is really
Have
good.
you had
though.
changing
Yeah,
already?
it's really good, isn't it? Is that your favourite as well?
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
think it's everyone's favourite best beer in the world.
So
Right,
we're here in the front bar.
well, we're here with
Kate.
Kate, who's going to take us through a bit of a guided tour of this amazing venue.
So we're like, here's the front bar. So this is the Prelude Lane front bar. And then as you go through this way, you go to the Crystal Bar, which is like where the DJs play. And it's the only place in the whole building that has a disco ball. Because otherwise, it's all like traditionally kind of live music and burlesque and kind of like dark and.
This is quite a late venue, right? So we're here. So
every
we're
night,
here
every
at
night of the week, it's 2 a.m.
yeah, we're here at
Until
7:30.
Friday
so.
and Saturday, it's 2:30 a.m. So this is really early. Like nothing happens here until after 10 p.m. You know, so.
Sounds like we know where we're going to be spending the next few
that's where
hours.
the DJ plays here.
Oh wow! Look at that.
So it's an old chest of drawers, and the DJ gear is there. And
I
then
think you
we
can
will
tell
go
from these
through
floors
here.
someone's been dancing.
This is the theater. So this is all the live music happens in here. Obviously, it's really empty and nothing is happening right now.
And what sort of musicians, what sort of
music,
bands
like,
what sort of music are you
basically,
playing?
Like
here?
we've been known, like originally when we opened first in 2006, it would have been jazz and blues.
And you got a record
and
for jazz, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, we're the longest running jazz improv in the country ever. So it's 19 years. And what we do is we host and we facilitate like a venue for students, for young people, for anyone who inspires to be a musician, to have a stage to play on. You know?
Oh, it's beautiful.
So, and not many other people do that. So we have give that opportunity to people to play and to practice and to kind of, and then if they get good enough, they get to play midnight Crane Lane as a band. And
Okay.
then we discover people that way, So we open the doors and then they get to play later.
So you'd say jazz is probably the main.
No, but
Main
not
bit that you're known
necessarily
for?
though. We've been a lot of bluegrass, a lot of rock, indie, everything has come through here, and we've had many famous people or Feist or kind of, but lots of people I couldn't even name, if you know what I mean, have come through here, or Caribou, or another one, or yeah.
I mean, this is quite a special venue.
Yeah.
You can just I love seeing venues with nights. We always like to film, so you see the places, not the people.
Yeah.
We come when it's early or on days when they're a little bit quieter, because you're never going to get this. This is no one ever
Nobody
is going
ever
to see
sees
this.
it like this.
No one sees
And
it like
when
this.
customers come in, if they ever come in looking for a lost jacket or something, they're like, "Oh my God, I don't recognize this."
Yes,
There's
I didn't
nobody
recognise
here."
this from the night before. Yeah, there's so many people
So,
around.
Yeah.
It's so impressive, and it's so beautiful down there.
There's a very long smoking area, so we'll go out there and I'll show you. So that's the stage. No, I know the lights aren't on, so I could have. Yeah.
It's fine. I'm sure I'll have a chance to stand on it in a minute. I always like to stand on a stage. I always stand on a stage and
And
have
it's
a
a
quick
very
tour.
long. This whole area is a smoking area. This whole area, from the front door to
I mean,
here.
it looks gorgeous, doesn't it? And so how long have you worked for the company then? Long
I've
time?
worked here 19 years. We're open since 2006.
So
November 2006.
I'll put you on the spot then, because we've been to a few of the pubs today that
Yeah.
are owned by the same owner. Which is your favourite and why?
Which is my favorite. Why? Because I've worked here for 19
This one.
years.
It's this one.
But I've also worked in other bars
Yes.
as well.
Which
but
one do
this
you
would-
recommend other than here?
Or here,
Other than here, I'm gonna put you on the spot. Other than
Okay,
here, which
so
is your favourite other than here?
I would say probably the Mutton Lane. Because
Yeah.
when I was a
Yeah.
teenager, before I ever worked for this company,
Okay.
I drank there.
Okay.
I was of age.
Right.
A long time ago, and it holds a lot to
Just
me.
a few years ago.
You know what I mean? It holds a lot to me,
Yes.
in my history of growing up. And the Oval as well would have been one of the first places I had a drink.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
because it
I
was
like
across the
that.
road from the Beamish and Crawford,
Yeah.
which I don't know whether you were told, right? But Mendaza, were you told about the Mendaza recipe?
It was the original Beamish recipe,
Yes,
right?
it was a porter recipe.
Yes.
Yeah. The owner, he was very young when he took on Snarly Joe's, which is across the road, and then the Oval. And when you're working bars a long time ago, sometimes you would do a bit of a tab for people, you know what I mean, who couldn't pay, or, you know. And there was a brewer that worked in Beamish that had a big tab. So it was like, and then at the end of paying off his tab, he gave...
Just for legal reasons, that's
you
entirely
probably cannot
allegedly.
say that.
That's not true at all.
it's not true.
Just remember everything that you hear on the
lied.
internet is not always true. But other than that, sure.
I know, yeah, don't. Anyway, I presume you're going to cut, you're not going to cut.
We'll be fine. We're like straight
Anyway,
to the other
so-
video.
And it's kind of like through this secret door into the middle of the laneway. So here, this is Main's, right? So it's a wine bar with food, and we serve food till 1:30 every night, 1:30 a.m. So if you look over there, you see all the cameras that came originally with the pharmacy. So they're original
It's good
cameras. Yeah, you can feel the etchings on the wall.
It's like,
and even in
this
cupboards,
is a bit like a prison cell.
like
isn't it?
everything, right? The cupboards, right? I'll bring you into the prison cell, right?
Oh,
So
into
here
the
we
actual
go,
prison
right?
cell. Okay.
These are the cages, right? So,
Okay.
but within here lies all the ledgers, right, from the original pharmacy. So the ledgers actually have medications given to people and prescribed to people from 120 years ago.
Wow.
So any medicine they needed, anything for any reason, it's all. That's why it's behind a cage right now.
Yeah, I mean, don't sit
So-
anywhere near this if you're an asthmatic.
Yeah.
Like, there's like an inch of dust on that.
But if you come through here, right, you see all the bottles up there? They're all original and real medicine bottles
Oh wow.
that contains medicine that was originally there.
Oof, would have been. I bet you that would have tasted good. Yeah, that's.
So
the
they're
kind of-
all through here. So, and this is where the food is prepared.
This is fascinating.
So, and again, you have more
Look at
ledgers
this.
here. Yeah, all the perfumes, like from the old pharmacy.
Oh look,
Came with
that's,
the,
that's
yeah,
Old
the
Spice. Old Spice one for the dads. There you go. Bit of brute as well.
Yeah.
That was my first
So
ever.
you have the women's
aftershave.
section, you have the men's section. But here, then you also have more ledgers here of descriptions of.
This is like going back to my
medicines or
teenage
things
years
given.
with
These are like
with
100
this.
years old.
Oh, look at that.
So, and if you look behind, you have even more medicines and bandages. Or
That's
kind of,
really
you know what I
fun.
mean?
That's yeah. That
Yeah,
looks
and it was
really
actually
cool.
a working pharmacy up until the early 90s.
That looks really fun.
And it was the Mains family, and that's why it's called Arthur Mains.
Caterpillar spray.
Yeah, it's like,
Look at this. Just here's one for the kids out there. See these? These are called cameras. Like the disposable cameras. You remember those back in the day when you used to you got your 20 photos and that was it.
oh, you
know?
took a photo
took
and
a
you
photo
put it
and then
into
that was it.
you got to get it developed, and you didn't know what was going to come
and you
out.
didn't know what was going to come. Yeah, and you come back from your holiday and you're like, oh, I've only got like 6 good ones here. Yeah, none of that anymore.
But
none
these
of
are
those
all
filters.
original bandages. Even everything here came
Yeah.
from the old pharmacy. It's not recreated. It's not, it's original.
It looks really fun. Oh,
Yeah.
so thank you so much for showing us that.
And then, right, there's another
There's more?
part
There's even
here,
more?
Right? So
There's even more?
there is a cocktail bar, right, which is like
Okay.
a secret, which we don't even advertise about. But it's upstairs, so we just go
Okay.
upstairs and then. So
Yeah,
this is
you're
all
easy
part
to
of
miss
the-
this door.
Yeah.
Easy to miss this.
Everything is original now as well, even the door to the toilet there. The original paneling and original door still there. And when you come up, it's kind of like a discreet kind of cocktail bar that nobody really knows about.
Look at this.
So here then you have like really original bespoke cocktails with, again, more
It's another thing that the kids won't recognise.
tape to tape.
It's like how to confuse the teenagers, give them a cassette tape and a pencil, and see if they can work out one or two. Yeah, no chance, no chance. Oh, the smell in here.
Fine, isn't it?
Oh.
So here, yeah. So there's fresh flowers, there are paintings. It's like, again, more all original things that came with the building. So it's like kind of like a history
Yeah,
in
it's like a
drinking,
museum.
but
yeah.
also it's a history in people's lives before. Maybe your nan or your granny or your, you know, somebody had a connection with it, you know. But yeah.
Someone's ashes have
I
got.
want to try a cocktail.
Someone's ashes have got to be in that, surely.
I hope not.
Surely someone's have. You just don't know who they are at the moment, but I'm sure there's someone. I'm sure someone's there.
Oh yeah, when you get to the top of the building, you get the cocktail.
Yes, you have a cocktail in here. Yeah, it's beautiful. Oh, brilliant! Thank you so much. That was a brilliant tour. Wasn't that amazing? Wasn't that really cool? That's such a cool place.
Do you want to go?
Right, well, let's wrap to a conclusion. Thank you so much for sticking around and watching for this long. It's been an absolute pleasure to explore Ireland. And today we've explored Cork. And you saw us, please. Thank you, dude. No worries. We've been able, go on, please go. Maybe if you come closer and you stand here, if you can stand here, then at least people can go behind you. Well, the day and the route comes to a conclusion. Thank you so much for watching and sticking around this long. I hope that you've already liked, subscribed and commented, and I hope that you will be able to come to Cork, like me, and discover some of these amazing pubs. It's been a real pleasure. Now, we are exhausted because actually you've just watched one route, but we've been in Ireland now for 3 days and we filmed 3 routes in a row. At the last count, it was 38 pubs. So if you haven't already checked out our routes around Limerick or Galway, make sure that you check those out and get yourself over to the Emerald Isle and enjoy some pints in Ireland. It's been brilliant. I love the place that we finished. It was a fantastic conclusion. We're going to try and find ourselves somewhere to eat now. And then, you know what? We might end up in Cork having some more drinks. Thank you for following us. And thank you for joining me this far. Let's go. Dude, I'm done.